It's been a while, my friend.
Certainly has.
Alright. Excited as ever to introduce our first player spawning in the top left hand corner as the Blue Zerg. It is playing for a freak of freaks, ARMANI.
And spawn here at the bottom right side, colored in red. He is the Red Terran from Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream.
Have you
Now,
seen that little spawning pool cancel from Armani and now he's making a spawning pool again?
yeah, that's very, very odd. Like, usually if any of the Zergs wants to kind of create extra supply, oversupply, they will just take the extractor, because that only takes about 25 minerals, right? Or if I'm correct, yeah, 25 minerals. But he actually waited for the spawning point and then canceled it. I must say that it's a pretty odd choice.
Yeah, it was I was very surprised to see the likes of that happen, and we were already seeing some banter between the two players, which are non-friends. Dream and Armani are longtime friends, so they actually play a lot together. They also play 2v2. Did you know that?
Oh, they did? I actually didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they do play 2v2 together.
Oh man, can you imagine like meeting them up in ladder?
Oh
You,
my god. With the matchmaking from 2v2, like, you could be silver and meeting them.
I know, right? It's like, do I GG out
Yeah,
or
I
do I
used
just?
to do 2v2 with Vindicta, and man, it wasn't fun for the other guys. I mean, he was doing everything himself, so don't mind me, I guess.
I want to join that team.
Oh, free to join, I guess. It's just basically watching Vindicta win games. It's kind of a diverse experience.
Yeah, I would be like, just chilling back. I'd be like, you carry us, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Meanwhile, Armani is actually doing a lot of disruption. Already killing a Marine, forcing a lot of SCVs out of the mineral path. And these Zerglings still running free around, forcing the Reaper back, finally get cleared. But I will say, I think that the early spawning pool kind of did something.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of getting that early spawning pool. Not only are you a bit extra safe against proxy cheeses, but you can go ahead and just kind of circumvent around and maneuver around the map and just kind of do some little bit of harassing damage, kind of delay some of the command center building at the bottom, as well as kind of pull some SCVs from the mineral line.
It's also very interesting how Dream decided to react to this, going for an early third command center very early on. He has basically forfeited any amount of map control right now. This Reaper cannot basically ever find a way in. There are way too many queens out, no real way to get some good scouting. This Reaper will just get into his death, won't get any scouting, and this layer is gonna get cancelled, actually, to bait his opponent a little bit. And there's a Roach Warren, well hidden behind the main.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a mind games coming out here for Armani. Now Dream is gonna be kind of on alert to see maybe this a early, because that's this tad early lair there, so it might be fast Mutalisk, or it could be Nidus Worm play. So he's got his guard up, but in fact it's actually gonna be just a canceled or a regular hatchery, as well as a third hatchery coming down here for the Blue Zerg.
Do you think the third could be a bait?
I think the idea is he's going for roaches, so he wants to get a faster reinforcement pathing, and I think getting that third base, makes it easier for that. Unfortunately for Armani, his roach push has been scouted. Now it's got to be interesting if he's going to commit to it or if he's going to fake it. It looks like he is going to commit to it, as there are a bunch of units on the production tab.
Yeah, well, you can see also Dream immediately starting a tech lab with his factory, trying to get a tank out as quick as possible to deflect this. But the attack is already started, and that's a lot of corrosive piles raining down on that poor little SCV. Most of the roaches have been cleaned, it's just the Ravagers. They don't really fight that well against Marines. And right now the Zerglings are joining, but it's a tad bit too late, I guess. 8 SCVs, definitely not enough. GG is gonna get cold, and Dream did a good job, but maybe Armani was a little bit too eager to go with that push. He maybe needed those Zerglings to tank a little bit of damage.
Yeah, he didn't have that early dirt, I think. Usually, because I've seen in the past, like, Zerg will get the 3 base and then go for the Roach Ling attack, but that dirt was a bit late, so that's a little bit less larva, which means the Lings were a bit tad late. And also, you know, good scouting from a Dream. He was active with those Hellions. He didn't just sit them around and not, you know, keep an eye out. He just kind of maneuvered them around, get some scouting, was able to scout the Roaches in time and, you know, get the defenses up and running just in time.
Yeah, not a very difficult game for Dream by any means. Armani kind of tried to do something a little bit cheeky on a very short map, but as much as I like when Armani decides to play very aggressively, I think there were a little bit too missing steps in what he did to actually be properly executed. Don't think his execution was on point, and for Dream, you gotta do more than that.
Yeah, you gotta remember, Armani already started the game a little bit off kilter. He kind of messed up a little bit of the build as he did go for the fast pull and canceled it. And it was a little odd to say the least. And I think off the bat, you know, he either was a little bit jittery in the start or he just missed the execution of the build.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Something was off. But let's see if he can make up for it here in the second game of today's first series, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. As the Blue Zerg, playing for a freak of freaks, is 1 point behind. It is Armani.
And spawn here at the top right corner of the map. He is the red Terran player, hailing from Korea and playing for Good Game Gaming. Make some noise for Dream.
It's very interesting how the maps they've chosen are progressively bigger and bigger. It's Lightshade, then Oxide, then Death Aura, then Pillars of Gold, and then Romanticide. It's just like a little bit of scaling forward, and the maps get progressively bigger. It's kind of fun.
Alright, do you know the kind of the hotkey to bring up the friends or the chat message to mute?
Oh, I do not know that.
Alright, I guess I'll do that after the game. Sorry guys, someone's messaging me saying he's here to tag me for some reason. I'm already tagged, and he's like in the wrong clan chat, so I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess maybe he's a troll or something, but anyhow, we'll just go ahead and ignore him and get back into this game. But like you said, yeah, this is a way different map than Lightshade. Lightshade a bit closer in distance this time around, just because of the pathing, how zigzaggy it is a bit more difficult to go across the map to your opponent's base.
If it weren't for those rocks, man, this will be a very short map. But luckily for the Zerg, those rocks are there. And let's see how he will make up for it. Those Zerglings need to get around the Reaper, avoid it, to get the little poor drone. Good save over there by Armani. But the second one actually does even wait a second. Very, very good call over there by Armani. Saves another one. Man, that was close.
Yeah, 2 life.
It's not the biggest of deals, but losing a couple drones to the Reaper feels very bad. So it's always nice when you get to save them. Meanwhile, we're gonna see again an early Fur Command Center for Dream. Everybody's kind of a little bit on the beyond up hype train. He decides to go for this kind of builds a lot. Decides to go for 2 Rex more often than not. But of course, everyone has their own playstyle. So.
Oh my god, is this Reaper actually gonna... I can't imagine him escaping. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Look at all that blood.
It was kind of close, but...
Yeah. It's pretty interesting that, you know, something so small has so much blood in it. It's like when you kill a mosquito or a fly, it's like, yeah, it's a little mosquito or fly, but somehow, you know, it has like, it leaves a big blood residue, and you're like, what? All that blood from one tiny thing?
Yeah, that's basically what Reapers are, to my eyes. Pesky mosquitoes. Scared, and they do that loud buzzing noise when you're trying to sleep. Yeah, that's how I feel about them.
The Reaper shade there.
Alright, double Evo Chamber on ARMANI's side. It's a lot remembering the reaction every Zerg player used to had against the old style 2-1-1. This time we have some Banshee action incoming. And I don't see ARMANI taking a lot of defenses against that.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love this tech of choice because, as I said earlier, it's a bit more difficult here to maneuver around because of the map on the ground. But one way to circumvent that is to make flying units where you can just fly over those rocks areas, those architectural buildings there, and just fly over to your opponent's base, which doesn't require them to walk on ground.
Yeah. It's more often than not the reason why basically everyone decides to go for air units on this map. They're just way too valuable. Unless you want to go around and break every single rock. But that's a little bit complicated in the early game for the Zerg player. Meanwhile, here comes the Banshee. Well, here come the Banshees more. But it looks like ARMANI made a ton of Spore Coolers to just be able to deal with this. Banshees are still gonna catch a couple transferring drones and a couple drones way too far from the Spore Coolers. Total of 6 have died. That's already pretty significant, considering these aliens are also making their way in and actually getting a lot of Crypt Tumors.
Yeah, luckily for ARMANI, he does have 3 queens with energy to recreep it, but those 2 Banshees still being pesky will go ahead and kill another queen.
Yeah, that's 10 drones and actually 1 queen. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, we did see 1 drone as well killed earlier by the earlier Reaper, so a total of 11 drones throughout this whole game thus far. And the most important thing is that he did save those Banshees, so all he had to do is to send them back home and just repair them and join them up with those group of Marines for possibly a second attack. Or maybe he could just go ahead and just kind of go into the main base while he does a double prong with the Marines at the third.
Either way, it's always a threat. When you don't kill the Banshees, you always have to be careful for those Banshees. They can get crazy amount of damage if you're not careful. So it's always good to keep them alive. Meanwhile, Banelings are in morphing phase, but they're way too far and way too few in numbers. And also, no slow Baneling will get past that bunch of Marines. This fight was over before it started, and Dream will get the second game of the series. ARMANI, a tad too slow on his builds today.
Yeah, a little bit slow there.
Yeah, those slow Banelings will never have cut it, even if they were made when the Zerglings started to attack the Marines. It was way too late. Centrifugal hooks was, I think, a little bit more than halfway through, but still, it was not a proper timing. He decided to go for the double Evo Chamber, but it kind of didn't pay off.
Yeah, it was basically a kind of a textbook play there, or a textbook game by Dream, and yeah, nothing like too crazy happened, I don't think. Yep. And was just able to just kind of roll over Armani. So Armani is going to need to start, kind of kicking up his game up a level, because these past 2 games he hasn't really looked too well or too good.
Yeah. Also, that's gonna be 3 lifelines in a row. He needs to win all of them to get to the next stage, because Dream is currently at match point. And man, he did deserve it this far. Alrighty. It's the 3rd game of this series. Potentially the last one, seeing how things have gone so far. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, can he avoid this clean sweep? Playing for a freak of freaks, it is ARMANI.
And spawning here at the top left. Looking really, really good at these past 2 games. Can he close it out with a dominant 3-0? It is Dream.
I mean, we're finally on a little bit of a bigger map. A map which is widely considered a macro map, most likely. Even though there are those acceleration zones that kind of make up for how big this map is. Anyway, it doesn't really look like ARMANI was doing great in both departments. Either being aggressive or just playing a standard game. How do you feel you should approach this 3rd game of this series?
Just survive to at least the mid or late game, because these past 2 games has ended quite fairly soon. I think at least if you're gonna go down, you might as well go out with a bang, with a better fight, right? So yeah, I think one of those, you had the big goal of winning the whole game, but you want to have some small goals of make sure you're executing your build correctly. And another small goal is to make sure you at least survive before a certain mark in the game.
I'm sure he hopes to survive as well. But Dream, on the other hand, is doing his best to just stop any possible hopes of his opponent before they can even become halfway through a reality. And let's see how this Reaper Scout goes, because this far ARMANI has been having quite some problems against this Scouting Reaper. And already has 1 drone being morphed into a Spore Puller. It's gonna be a save, and actually the Reaper is gonna go down. That's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a good start.
And we also see Dream going for the 3 command centers before starport play again. 1 Marine to avoid scouting, to just be overall a little bit safer. And this is gonna be once more kind of a very standard textbook play with just this early macro advantage, trying to get a little bit more units pumped out in the mid game.
Yeah, it seems like a build that he's very, very comfortable with, and it has worked out pretty nicely for him the past 2 games. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just continuously, execute the build until you feel like you have to change it up. But the Overlord from ARMANI does come in here and will scout everything that's going on. Except, does he see the start port? No, not quite yet. Okay, there he goes. He does finally see the start port, and he should know what's coming here.
Yeah, most definitely. He didn't see the tech lab researching anything. But at this stage of the game, you're definitely not expecting a Raven. You, of course, expect Banshees to come out. And as you said, if you then broke, don't fix it. And that's probably what even ARMANI is going to think about his opponent play. Gonna start out a lair immediately. Don't want to take as much damage as he took in the second game. That proved to be lethal to him. So already kind of adjusting his play to what his opponent has been doing these past 3 gates.
All right, Cloak is about halfway done. Just waiting for the second Banshee, it seems. While he's just kind of probing around with these Hellions, making sure that the creep doesn't get too far. And just barely getting that creep there. Oh, nice.
But ARMANI has been doing kind of a good job keeping his queens around, stopping these aliens from actually having a good chance to commit. Oh boy, shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. Alright. Reacts on time, but more aliens are coming up, and it's soon to be the time for the Banshees to actually start harassing ARMANI's mineral lines.
Alright, looks like centrifugal hooks just started here.
Good timing?
Huh?
It's a good timing.
Oh yeah. There's always that kind of that threat of those Hellions be turning into Hellbats. So Banshees or Banelings rather does do pretty well against the Hellbat push, the Hellbat timing, as well as if there is a follow-up Marine push that helps as well.
Yeah, Lair just completed. It's always a good call for ARMANI to start out that Overseer and just be a little bit more careful about those Banshees. They're still gonna get a lot of drones, there's no way around it. But maybe killing them, yeah, it's getting a little bit too far actually. Like 10 drones again. Yeah, you're probably okay. Getting that Banshee is quite good. You're probably okay with losing like 5, 6, 10 is maybe a little bit too much.
Well, the good thing about this map is that there is a lot of dead airspace, so those Banshees can hide behind the... Oh no, yeah. Did he mismicro that?
Definitely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Queens do have a lot of range. You have to be extremely careful around those. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do think the Dream, he didn't scout the Spire coming up. And the timing this game for ARMANI has been pretty nice, actually. He has been doing things pretty quickly compared to the other games. And while not having a lot of Banelings, just having the 10, he's probably capable of holding this without too much of a hustle.
Yeah, especially with Baneling speed and also the creep. I definitely don't want to engage on the creep. And looks like ARMANI will hold for the time being. That's going to buy him enough time to get those Mutalisks out. As you can see in the production, 8 Mutalisks in the production tab. 1-1 about to finish as well for these Lings and Banelings. So they should be able to hold off this Marine force with no problem.
Yeah, especially being able to survive a couple more shots from the Marines. Being able to survive a barrage from these Hellbats. It's gonna be pretty important. I think, he's making more Banelings. He hardly need more Mutas at this stage. He definitely needs more stuff on the ground, because Dream has quite a powerful army divided on 2 different sides. And the Mutas need to be focusing on these Medivacs as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Dreamy is gonna send another full contingent of Widowmines and Marines, while these Mutas do their best stopping the Medivacs from actually leaving out from the Zerg base. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, that's another big push coming from Dream. Banelings will get a powerful connection in the middle of those Marines, but there's still a lot standing up, and this single Widowmine has been quite a problem. Widowmine's gonna get a... Oh, that's a beautiful shot on top of almost all of the Banelings. ARMANI is gonna find himself not too strong on his army, but these Marines are very, very bruised. Meanwhile, Zerglings will get a surround. All they need is a couple good of surround of those to just stop this Marines army from dealing too much damage. And as long as this archery is unscathed, I think ARMANI is pretty good right now.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful. 2-2 is about to finish for the Terran player, so there's going to be a slight little window where he is going to have the upgrade lead. But it looks like Dream is going to go ahead and separate some of his forces to the left. Now another one into the right. And Armani is going to have to make sure he maneuvers his army correctly. Oh! Another beautiful Widowmine shot there.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's a point in the game in which you cannot afford to lose too many units. Right now, you can see Armani really struggling in the army department. Those mutas doing their best, 7 drones falling down. It doesn't really look like Dream can actually get into this base at 6 o'clock. But I think it's coming very close. 21 buildings in the well, actually 11 buildings in the production tab, but that's a lot of army coming up for Dream right now.
We do see Armani does have a little group of banelings trying to do a baneling run by there. Unfortunately for him, there are a bunch of supply depots blocking off from on that third base, so he should be relatively safe. But in the meantime, Armani does have to deal and contend with this army here on the left side. That's a lot of doors. Well, I guess only just 2 doors, but not a lot of mutalisks to override them.
Yeah, Banelings are not getting any powerful connections. Banelings are gonna get actually a little bit of damage on the top left corner with their run by, but in the meanwhile, it looks like Dream is basically gotten a free actually in the bottom left. So I don't really think that was a good trade for Armani.
Oh yeah. Kind of microing some of his units here, you know, running by with the Lings and just like letting them get shot at. And now he's down to only 4 bases versus the 4 base of Terran. And as a Zerg player, you never want to be on equal footing in terms of base counts. So he is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to definitely find something, find some vulnerability or find a rabbit out of the hat in order to kind of climb himself back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Armani is basically just surviving right now. He's making quite the effort at doing so, and he's doing it properly. But I don't see many outs outside of maybe Vipers to get out of this very sticky situation. Right now, Banelings are gonna get a lot of connections over here, it seems. Oh, not a good spread from Dream. The pre-spread was quite awful, and now Banelings and Zerglings can come cleaning up. Even though the connections are not really proper, this army is still very bruised, and the mutas should be able to clean it, but oh wait, I didn't look at the supply. That was all of the army of Armani.
Yeah, he basically threw his whole army into that force. Some nice micro there by Dream, and Dream able to take that.
I thought it was half his army. I didn't think it was all of it. That was quite a sleep from my eyes. But